Please welcome SamayS.
I'm SamayS, I'm senior in design, and for my Zenith, I decided to do a model of a banyan tree. So my inspiration for this project kind of came from like being out in nature and seeing all the different types of plants or trees that were out there, and then also knowing I wanted to do something more like hands-on and 3D. Kind of led me to choosing this. And then once I first pitched my idea to Miss P, it was kind of broad. I just said I wanted to do a tree. So after we did some research, we kind of narrowed it down to this type of tree. So my main materials for this project were a paper towel roll, which was the base of the tree, and then amateur wire, which was used for all the roots and the branches, and then to mold it and like make the outside of it, paper clay, and then aluminum foil as the base layer. So at the beginning of my process, it was mostly just using amateur wire and creating the outline of the model. I started hot gluing pieces of it to the bottom and to the top as the branches, and then started coating in aluminum foil, which you had to do before you put the clay on. And then the middle of my process was adding the clay after all the aluminum foil was on. So I had to roll out the clay and then make sure it was the right amount of thinness or thickness to be able to stay on without ripping or tearing before it dried. And then the end of my process was obviously painting a lot and then adding like the moss at the top. So painting kind of took a lot of time just because there was a lot of crevices and cracks which stayed white and wouldn't get like paint inside them. So that took a lot of like detail with a small brush. And then in the end I added the moss, which I found in Miss P's like random supplies. And I hot glued that on, and then also added some texture, which was from this like clay like spray or add-on. And then I used the molding like paste and added it to the brown paint and added some more like texture on the trunk. And then this is my final product after everything was done. And then so reflecting back on what I did, I think planning was a little bit of a challenge just because it was really last minute. I had a like project idea in the first 2 weeks, but it kind of got tossed to the side just because the materials wouldn't arrive in time. And then materials, I was kind of improvising. I had to find a lot of them in Miss P's room, but I think it still turned out good. And then I think I learned a lot from this product about improvisation, just because I was making so much stuff up on the run, and it kind of taught me a little bit more about creativity. So, yeah.
You should hold it up.
Yeah. The what? Oh, so on like the normal banyan trees, they have these like long strings coming down, and I tried to replicate those. It didn't turn out as I wanted, but still, I think it looks fine. Yeah. No.
What was the process like finding these materials on the fly?
It wasn't like really that bad, but some of the materials like this, I got lucky that Miss B had a box with like a bunch of like nature supplies, which I used. Yeah.
Right. What was your favorite part of making this tree?
I think probably adding the moss on top. I thought it like kind of brought it all together. Unique.
Have you ever seen one of those trees in real life? Or
Yeah.
Really?
Don't worry, I have. Yeah.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
This is stylized banyan tree.
Yeah, that's what I think.
If you had like more time, would you add anything to the tree or like?
I'd probably fix these. Yeah. I think I'd make them longer. Yeah.
Where can these trees be found? Like actually?
They're kind of like in everywhere. They're they're a lot in like the deep forest, so they're not as much like seen from the outside. But if you like go on a hike and go like kind of deeper into the mountains, you can see.
Like, would you find these in California?
Yeah. I've seen them.
Just go to Hawaii there.
Yeah, also there.
You said this is moss on the top, right?
Yeah, it's like they're like fake.
Oh, it's no.
Yeah,
I was gonna say, is
No,
it
no,
that?
it's not
All
right.